Hello, it's Jack, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Car Mechanic 2021. And as you can guess by the thumbnail title, this is about the new DLC from RedDot Games, which is the Aston Martin DLC. We get four cars, four wonderful cars. We get this beauty here. Nice colour, nice colour. This is indeed the Aston Martin DBX from 2022. It's nice to see that RedDot Games are really keeping up with relevant and modern cars. So a car from this year, goodness gracious me. And then we have this famous wonderful Aston Martin DB5 1963. Does that ring any bells? Does that ring any bells? James Bond car. Isn't it funny that we had the Lotus Esprit, which is also a James Bond car, and now the iconic DB5. And then, of course, over here we have the Aston Martin Vantage. No, sorry, the Aston Martin DBS, which is a fantastic car, absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, before I go back to that one, and then we have this one, which is the Aston Martin Vantage from 2019. So I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. You get new rims for all cars, okay? So one set of rims for each of the different models outside, so you get four new sets of rims. You also get new interiors for the seats and steering wheels, and the interiors are pretty snazzy, as you would come to think, or at least come to expect from RedDot Games with their DLCs. Look at that lovely stitching, white stitching all around the suede leather, I guess it is. I'm not quite sure. I've never sat in an Aston Martin, to be fair. Anyway, very, very nice. Obviously, you've got all the emblems and badges, which is also a nice touch. Nothing per se in the boot or anything, you know, of that gubbins. Also with the DB5, that's also empty. DBX, I believe it has some rails inside, which is also a nice touch. I'm not sure on the interior on this one. It doesn't grab me, but look, you even got the switches down here for changing your chair and everything, or the seat, as I should say. I mean, there is some nice texturing in this car. I just don't like the interior per se. I don't like it. It's just not me. Anyway, not to worry. So what else have we got in this DLC apart from the four new cars? Well, we've got four new brand new engines as well. So here we have, which is the DBS, and we have a V12 AM11. That's a huge monster of an engine. Yeah, V12, absolutely massive, 510 horsepower. And I'll talk a little bit more about this V12 AM11 a little bit later on in the video, because it's also been included in another Aston Martin, which you don't get in the DLC per se. But stay tuned, and I'll come to that. This one again, another little. It's still a huge V12. Sorry, it's an i6, sorry, it's six-cylinder. Now, this engine does share some parts with the standard i6, but it also does have some bespoke parts for this particular model of engine. So, although you get quite a few things in the store, in the shop, as I should say. Oh, that's my inventory. Let's not go there. Excuse me. Can we actually get the tablet? Thank you very much. So, for example, if we looked up the i6TM, as it's called in this particular game, which is the, what's it, Tandek Marek. So if we look up i6 and then put TM after it, you'll see there's lots of different parts, 2 pages nearly, well, it's actually a page and a bit, to be fair. All these are bespoke for that particular engine. But because it's an i6, you can put other parts on it from the tune-up. So there'll be a raft of i6 stuff in here that I'm sure you can also bolt on. I'm not 100% sure, I haven't checked, but I'm assuming, for example, I don't know, maybe the carbs. Does it have do we get the good carbs in this one? I think we get the good carbs in this one. Oh, even crabs. Do we get any crabs? Carb. So I think it's a side one, 2-barrel side draft here, which is actually on this vehicle. There's 3 of them, so you could actually just put those on as well, because these are not bespoke for this i6 TM. They're just general i6 parts. But I've got a couple of parts actually. Oh, just before I leave, let me just sit in this one. This really is. Look at the air conditioning, or rather the climate control. Absolutely brilliant, eh? And I think that might be a cigarette lighter in the dashboard as well. Lovely. Love how the door handles are down at the left-hand side down there. Excellent. Anyway, I've got a couple of engines just to kind of showcase how much, you know, effort and time has been put into this. But before I go over to the engine stand, if we just take a quick look at this one, this is using the rear-wheel drive Vantage. Okay, so sorry, I just had to jump out recording then. This is the rear-wheel drive 177, and if you take a quick look in, not this one, it's this one over here. This is actually the same model of engine, but this is rear-wheel drive, I believe. Sorry, all-wheel drive, M177. Take a quick look in the old superior parts. Quite a lot of stuff in there. Obviously, they're going to be shared across engines, so this is only specific, obviously, for the DBX and not the. Oh, which one is it? The Vantage. Vantage? No, it's the DBS. So there are some shared parts, some parts which are shared and some which are specific for the car. Anyway, let me just quickly go over to the engine stand and give you a quick shifty about this engine. So this is the one that's in the DB5. This is the TM model. Again, a lot of this is bespoke, as I said before. Not too much bespoke. There is some parts you can just bolt on as normal, certainly like the fan and also water pulley and crankshaft pulley. But I've also got another engine, which I just want to showcase real quick. Let me just take this one off and just put a new one on. This is an absolute beast. I want to put the engine on, thank you. So this is the AWD, so this is the all-wheel drive one from the DBX. And you'll see on this particular model there's a lot of bespoke parts on this one. I think I would say probably excuse me, maybe 80% or maybe even 85% of the engine is specific for this engine model and the car. Really nice. And what I've noticed here, if you look at the detailing just here, they spent a lot of time on this. Look at this, they've even got polished inlet ports here. Not seen that on a cylinder head before. And then you've got these VVL controllers, which are new as well. I don't know what the hell a VVL controller is. It controls the VVL. I don't know what that is. A couple of points on this engine though. This engine block is all one piece, and there is a timing cover I'm sure that goes on here. But just to not catch you out, if I go into remove part mode, you'll see here there's actually some parts hidden up here. They might catch you out, especially if you're a new builder. Or new mechanic, as I should say. So there's a couple there which could catch you out if you're not quite sure, you know, how to work this engine if you're not that experienced. Anyway, without further ado, that's the engine. I'm not going to showcase all the engines. I mean, you know, it would take too long. Some of the nice points. I like the way they managed to do this without putting an engine cover on it. It actually looks like a real engine, and each one of these is a specific part, as opposed to a modded vehicle where you often get, you know, the engine cover to replicate the look of the engine, because the modders have to use the existing engines in the game. So in saying that, we have had Aston Martins in game before the DLC. They were modded vehicles. Any of you that are not aware of what modded vehicles are, then please see my modded vehicle video, which I'm linking in the description now. And I've been robbed again. Why can I not find it? I have one. I have a modded vehicle. I do believe it must be in the dyno. Here it is indeed. Okay, so this is actually a Vantage. Aston Martin Vantage from 2013. It is a car modded vehicle. I think this was available sometime last year, in obviously 2021, when DeadBob777, who is a very good modder. You can get this mod on Steam. Again, watch the video if you don't know how to do that. I think there's 7 different variations of this particular vehicle. Now, when I got this car through the mods, I think I got it at auction, to be fair, I did. I was not sure which engine it would have in, but what DeadBob777 has done, the modder, what he's actually done is he's on the day of release or the day after release, so when this DLC came out in on the 19th of September, he actually went in and rejigged all of his mod work to incorporate the V12 AM11. So it's actually completely now in line with the vehicle, sorry, the engine that's in the DBS. Absolutely amazing. So you're able to really benefit from all of the new the DLC engine in this modded car. In saying that, however, if you do want to subscribe to this mod on Steam, to get this car working and to have that engine, you've obviously got to purchase the DLC. Yeah? So You know, it's just the way it is. This is not a standard standard RedDot engine. This is a DLC one. So anyway, just some food for thought. Like I said, there is I think 7 different types is done that you can find it in various different places. Oh, one thing about when you say finding things in different places, most of the cars you can find in auction, salon, and all that good stuff. For example, if you look at this one, you can find this in junkyard, auction, barn, right? Which is great. Not in the salon. This one, with it being a 22 model, you can actually only find this in the auction or salon. I guess the thought process behind that was because it's a brand new car, 2022, there's not going to be that many in the scrapyard, which is, you know, it's a nice touch in one way, but that means you're going to be paying a pretty penny for it. In terms of value for these vehicles, now we're talking about purchasing them, this one's coming in at 220,000 and it's in pretty good condition, so, you know, you can expect, you know, it's a fair chunk of money. This one individually is also, you know, a fair bit of cash, 79,000, not in as good condition, obviously. You can see that on the parts, and I think this one's also quite expensive, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 97 grand. So, you know, they're not too crazy, not too crazy at all. But one thing you might not know is if you didn't want to pay for this DLC, which is only €4, I think there's 10% off right now, there is one more Aston Martin that's available in the game, and I'll just show you that right now. So we are. This is a DBR1 driven by, I think was it Carol Shelby. This is actually a modded vehicle, and this is also from Dead Bob 777. I think there's 2 versions of this you can find in the game. There's this replica and then there's the actual original version. Again, auction, salon, junkyard and barn. These are absolutely ridiculous amounts of money. I've paid £500,000 for this and I'm still losing money on it. Anyway, so if you didn't want to get the DLC, you can always subscribe to that mod. Very nice detailing this vehicle. I've just sat in the passenger side for some reason, I don't know why. Really, really nice detailing. Superb. Just a little catch on this one. It has a front clamshell here, which is the hood, obviously. It also has an engine cover. So when you look at this from here, it looks like it's, you know, a fantastic bespoke engine. It's actually not. If you take the engine cover off, it's a standard i6, just like it was on the DB5 you saw earlier. Slightly different modifications on this one, obviously, but it's got the same carburetors and everything else, so they will share some parts with it being an i6. One thing that you might get caught out with, if you want to try and put the engine cover back in, you can't at this point. You need to actually remove the clamshell, or sorry, the front end, and do it this way, and then put the engine cover back on, and then all the other good stuff. Anyway, there you go. That's pretty much it. I've not gone into too much detail on all the different parts you can get and blah blah blah, but I think I've showcased most of it. So there you go. That's the new DLC, and as you can see up there, it's out now. So if you want to get it, then grab yourself a bargain for 10% off from Steam. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the video, and Jack is out.